keep this covered up for YouTube so I can be advertiser friendly. Okay. Hello Starlets, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. I make videos to inspire you to be the best version of yourself and live your dreams. So if you want to be an Everyday Starlet, be sure you hit that subscribe button. It's actually been a little while since I made a video. Not gonna lie, I have not been good with the consistency, but I have been extremely consistent on Instagram. That's where I've been spending most of my time. I'm there every single day. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, you will get daily updates, inspiration. Like, I've been spending a lot of time there. YouTube, I'm not gonna lie, like, I've been a little and I've kind of been a little bit confused as to like what direction to go with on YouTube. I do feel like because my channel was originally like beauty, and that's kind of how I grew as a channel in a time when beauty channels were growing. I feel like there are a lot of people on here that like my beauty videos, and I get like requests to do beauty videos and makeup tutorials and stuff, but then those videos don't really get many views. And then I have been focused more on my Instagram. It was sort of more like body positivity, you know, living your dreams, inspiration, stuff like that. And that's been going really well, and I really feel very inspired to create content like that. But of course with Instagram and the new algorithm, which I'm sure if you haven't experienced the sort of censorship on Instagram, you probably have heard about it. It's harder and harder to post that kind of stuff, even though my stuff is clean. But you know, it does get a little sensual. You know, it tends to get buried in the Instagram algorithm, whereas on YouTube, when I've posted things like that and tried to bring some of that, some of what's working on Instagram here on YouTube is like, that's not advertiser friendly. And with Instagram, I mean, Instagram is a lot of work. I put a lot of time and effort into Instagram as far as my photos and, you know, what I post, and I put a lot of thought and I put a lot of heart into that. But YouTube itself is like, it's so much more work. Like the videos, the editing, the whole process of it is just, it's so much more work. So with Instagram, I think I've been spending more time there because it's a little bit easier for me to like try something out, see what works. Whereas with YouTube, it's so difficult for me when I put like so much time and so much effort and so much heart into a video, and then either nobody watches because it's just not a popular video, or people watch but I can't monetize it, so that, and it's not all about money, but frankly I'm in a lot of debt from doing all those beauty videos, because it's like 90% of the products I bought myself with my own money. So, and I've not made even nearly that much back here on YouTube. So it's just one of those things where like, I know I'm trying to lose weight, but mama's got to eat. So that's kind of like a rambly thing. I'm still trying to figure out like what I want to do with this YouTube channel. And if you guys have any, you know, comments or, you know, suggestions or things you want to see, please let me know, because I definitely want to make content that you want and that you enjoy. But today I decided I just want to do a Q&A, and I just put it out there on Instagram, you know, for some questions, because I haven't really just done a regular like sit down straight up Q&A in a really long time. And I don't know if this video will get a whole lot of views, but hopefully the people who I already have some kind of a connection to will feel a little bit more connected. And I just want to kind of be real and open with you guys. That's actually why I didn't set up like all my fancy lighting. I'm just using some natural window lighting, and I'm using my vlogging camera. I didn't set up my big DSLR. I do still have full makeup on, but I just took Instagram photos. So this is not how I sit around all day, but I have a little Casabella here just to keep me on brand. I asked you guys if you guys had any questions for me on Instagram, and I'm gonna go through some of these questions, and I'm just gonna kind of be real. I have a feeling, based on like a glance at some of these, I think we might kind of get a little deep and intense here. So when it comes to Instagram, I feel like one thing I've learned is when I have a post where I'm either posting something, whether it be because of what I'm exposing physically or what I'm exposing personally in my caption or what I'm sharing, like when I feel really afraid to post it, like I kind of force myself, because like 9 times out of 10 I am so grateful I did, and that's the thing that will get the biggest response, and that people will tell me that they feel the most connected to, and that they appreciate that I'm being open and honest. And so I want to try to carry that over here on YouTube. And I've been told by some people that I hold back on YouTube, and I don't know, like, I'm a pretty open, honest person, but I don't know, I just kind of want to be like real with you guys and just put it all out there. And you know, so let's just go for it and see what we get into. First question is, what's your advice to someone struggling with body positivity because of health restrictions? I mean, I'm not a health expert, and I don't actually know what health restrictions you have specifically, so it's hard for me to give like a really specific answer, but I feel like you can't talk about body positivity without talking about self-care. I feel like both body positivity and self-care get sort of tossed around like they're just words, and I don't know if people really like think about what they mean, but I feel like it's just almost impossible to have one without the other. And for me, I feel like self-care for a long time was just seen as you know, oh, I'm gonna do like a face mask or something, and that's a great self-care routine. Like, I'm not saying it's not, but self-care is so much more than that. And I believe personally that the ultimate form of self-care is taking care of your health. You know, I know that for some people caring for your health is much more challenging than it is for other people, but without your health, you don't, it's just the most important thing in my mind, at least. And so I feel like whatever it is that your health restrictions are, I feel like, first of all, you have to understand that no matter what they are, that you are worth caring for your health. You are, I don't care what you look like. I'm assuming if you're struggling with body positivity, that it's because you are having issues with what you look like and feeling confident in how you look. And I think that the first step is to do whatever you can to make yourself feel good, to make yourself feel better. Are you ever gonna be 100% healthy? I don't know. Like, I don't really know what it is that you're going through, but I can say that it's always worth the effort, you know. And if your health restrictions are such that you can't be maybe as active as you'd like to be, you know, we all have the power to change our diet, to change our, you know, what we consume. I feel like that's where it starts. You know, I know people always have reasons, you know, taking care of your, you know, eating right is expensive or what, but like so is healthcare. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like if you shift your focus, and I know it's difficult. I preach it, but I also struggle with it because, you know, as much as I say I work out to feel good, I eat right to feel good, there's definitely times when like I'll do a few ab crunches and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, how do I look? But at the end of the day, like, I'm like, okay, but I'm doing this because I want to have a stronger core, because I want to have better posture, and because I want to feel better. I want to protect my back. You know, I want to stand up straighter because it's better for me. Like that feeling. I mean, I think especially for women, I think we're more susceptible to this than men aren't necessarily. Although not to say that men don't have this issue, but we get very tied up in our looks, and I feel like if you shift the focus to how you feel and knowing that you deserve to feel good, you deserve to feel healthy, and actively take the steps to do that, whether it be, you know, meet with a nutritionist or something to make sure that your diet is going to make you feel better, you know, or maybe, you know, working with a physical therapist to try to get some physical activity safely, or whatever it is that you're dealing with. I feel like actively taking control and doing things that will make you feel better are in turn naturally going to eventually make you look better, but you're gonna get to a point where you realize that you're worth putting in that time and that effort to feel good, so that the looks are gonna be less of your sole focus. And I think that's the key. I mean, I'm coming from a place where I've, you know, thankfully never had any major physical health issues, and I'm extremely grateful for that. But that would be my advice to somebody in that situation. Also, gratitude. Gratitude has 100% changed my life, and I know that when you are dealing with difficult times, whether it be health restrictions or anything, it can be challenging, but focusing on the things that are good in your life, because if you are, I mean, obviously you asked me this question on Instagram. So you have Instagram, so you obviously have a cell phone. So, you know, you obviously can afford to have a cell phone. You obviously are breathing. You obviously have the ability to, I suppose you can talk to text or whatever, but you have the ability to communicate. Like, you know, there's so many things that are, I'm sure, that are positive in your life that, even though sometimes the negatives can feel like they outweigh the positives, shifting your focus to the positives will just make you happier in general. And I can totally speak from personal experience on that. So focusing on gratitude is huge. So making sure you take care of yourself, because you know you are worth it, because you are, and focusing on gratitude and the things in your life that are good in your life. That would be my top choice. And thank you for that question, because that was a really great question, and I think I hope that helped you and other people watching. Okay, I have some amazing people that follow me on Instagram. I do, and I'm speaking of gratitude, I'm so unbelievably grateful for some of the amazing people that follow me on Instagram. I have some odd people who follow me on Instagram. I have this question: who is the man who didn't treat you like a queen? I mean, take your pick. I mean, find me a man who will treat me like a queen, and then we'll talk. Okay, this next one. I love how you handle weirdos and their comments. How do you stay so positive? First of all, thank you. And if some of you don't know what she's referring to, I do this thing. I try to do it weekly, although I don't always have time to do it. But I do what I call the Hall of Shame. It's not a totally original idea, but I do have a comedy background, so I screenshot some of the odd DMs that I get on Instagram, and I kind of, like, I don't message people back. Like, if it's a weird DM, I'll screenshot it, but then I block them and stuff. But I'll kind of like post the weird DM and kind of like what I would say as a funny comment and stuff. So it's just kind of it's just kind of trying to make something that it sometimes just can really get sad and depressing, and like put a positive spin on it. So I guess the answer to like how I stay so positive is in that situation especially, but I mean, I did stand-up comedy for like 15 years, and for me, using humor definitely helps sort of like diffuse the pain of situations. And so for me, you know, I was getting a lot of these DMs from these creepy guys, and some of them are just, I mean, some of them I don't even want to post, because I'm just sort of like, I don't want to share this filth with the world, because I don't want anybody else to be subjected to it. But in general, it's just like, it gets draining after a while, where you start to feel like, oh my God, do people really just see me as some kind of like an object? Or like, as much as it gets draining, for me, using the humor and trying to make it entertaining is just, it's a way of taking something that in my mind felt very negative and trying to twist it around and making it into something positive. And so that's honestly, that, I mean, I'm not always positive. I mentioned before, I focus a lot on gratitude. That helps me stay positive. But you know, in this particular situation with the Hall of Shame, like responding to like the creepy DMs, it's really just my way of being like, I want to use this and try to make it entertaining and turn something negative into a positive. And that's, you know, I try to use humor for that. And I feel like humor is healing. Humor is like, laughter is medicine. Laughter is the best medicine, is what they say. So I'm like a laugh doctor. I'm not. Okay, what is your inspiration to stay fit, maintain your appearance? Was there a life-changing event? As far as maintaining my appearance, looking good, makeup, I've talked about this, I think, before, as far as like, you know, makeup and hair and trying to dress well and stuff. That's just always something that I have enjoyed ever since I was a kid. I've like been dying to wear makeup and stuff, and I feel like times in my life when I have not done that, when I've just sort of said I'm not going to, like, I just don't care if I, you know, take care of my skin, or I don't really care if I wear makeup or whatever, I feel like it coincided with times of very deep depression, And then the act of you know, putting on makeup or whatever, it wasn't to change my appearance, and like I don't wear makeup or anything for anybody or for society to feel acceptable or whatever. It's just something that I feel personally makes me feel good. The act of putting on makeup is very meditative. It's me time. It's me, you know, the act of painting my face. It's just, it's a form of self-care. And the sort of like maintaining my appearance beauty-wise is really more about caring for myself, because I want to be in a good place mentally. Which is actually, on a side note, so someone told me this story one time. Okay, it's this girl who I just met, and I have one of those faces, I feel like, that people just like tell me things, like really personal things that I'm just like, I don't know if we know each other well enough for you to share this with me. Someone had said something about my makeup and whatever, and this girl who I had literally just met just said to me, she's like, yeah, your makeup is nice. I don't wear makeup anymore, because I mean, I'm getting that good D, so I mean, I don't have to worry about makeup anymore. And I literally looked at her and I was like, I don't relate to anything that you just said right now. Whether or not I have a relationship or a man in my life does not at all determine whether or not I wear makeup. Like, that is 100% for me, and it's not, it has nothing to do with that. Like, I was like, we're not on the same wavelength here. So I just, I don't know. As far as weight and weight loss, I've talked about my fitness journey a few times, and I actually want to do a whole video on how I got started on my fitness journey, because I have a lot of people that message me and ask that, and I feel like I end up like typing out a long explanation every time. Like, I really should like save it and copy and paste it. But I type out like a big long story explanation, tips and everything, and most people are just like, okay, thanks, and whatever. So I feel like I want to make a video so I can, like, when people do ask, I can say, here's the video, here are my top tips for starting out. But yeah, I mean, I think every time I've ever like really taken my health and my fitness and my weight loss really seriously has usually been after a pretty life-changing event. Most recently, you know, if those of you don't know, I've mentioned it on Instagram. I haven't mentioned it as much here on YouTube. In the past 3 years, I've had to basically take over as a caretaker to my parents. They've had some pretty serious health issues. I mean, they're stable now, but you know, they're getting older, and they've had some pretty serious health issues that I've had to step in and take care of them. And in that time, I also got married, and that lasted a very short time, and now I'm in the process of getting a divorce. Going through all that, I think, forced me to really step up my self-care, which involved you know, eating right, health, nutrition, working out, beauty care. I feel like it's one of those things where you have to kind of make a choice where you're like, all right, I'm either going to care for myself, or I'm just gonna let this break me. And for me, I was just like, I don't want to let this break me. So yeah, without getting like too much into it, yeah, there's been some life-changing events, and inspiration for me is always just wanting, I think it's just like that desire to want to, I mean, live my best life is such an overused phrase right now, but it's just true. Like, I want to be fulfilled, and I want to find, you know, I want to actually live my dreams and not wanting to give up on them, and that just keeps me going, you know. Okay, could you share your setup process? You have such great angles and perfect lighting. Thank you so much. I think this lighting keeps changing because clouds are coming in and out. But I'm assuming that you mean for my Instagram, and I have a whole video where I show you my setup for how I take my Instagram photos. I will link that video to this one. I think I pretty much cover that. I mean, for lighting, for my Instagram photos, I use natural lighting. Like for this video, I'm using natural lighting. For my sit down like YouTube setups, I have some like light boxes that I'll set up sometimes if I feel motivated to do it, or if the lighting isn't as good. But for the most part, I try to use as much natural lighting as possible. So I try to take photos near windows, and I'll use like the shades and the curtains to like have more light or diffuse the light. As far as settings on the camera, you know, I'm not a camera expert. It's trial and error, but you know, if lighting is a little bit off or something, it's just all about like in post, I try to lighten or darken the photos. And as far as like angles and stuff, it's really just trial and error. I try stuff, and I do everything myself. All my Instagram photos are self-taken unless I mark them that they're not, but like 90% of them are self-taken. And you know, the great thing about it is I just try stuff, and if an angle doesn't work or something just isn't right, those photos never have to see the light of day. So that's one of the reasons why I like it, because it's just me and my camera, and I just try stuff out and just see what works and see what doesn't. Okay, we have a lingerie question. What is your go-to brand for a nice one piece for a first-time boudoir shoot? I'm assuming you mean like a bodysuit or something. I know for me and stuff like that, like, because I am full or busted, it's harder for me to find stuff that like works in the cup size. I don't know if you're, you know, what your sizing is or anything, but I would say, and I will link some of my suggestions in the description box below. I really like, when I'm looking for something, the places I like to start are Bare Necessities and Fig Leaves, because they have a lot of different brands and they have a huge range of sizes. So that's usually where I start to look for stuff. I'm a huge fan of, especially if you are curvier, Curvy Kate, which they have Dear Scantily, which is like, they're more like I don't know what you call it, more indulgent line in their brand. I love Casabella. Their stuff is just so well made and beautiful. Oh, Playful Promises. Playful Promises has a great selection of stuff. ASOS has actually been doing really good, stepping up their like lingerie section and stuff like that. So I'm gonna link all those below and stuff. Those are just places I would just start looking. I mean, it really depends on what style you're looking for, you know, your sizing and stuff like that, but those are definitely places that I would recommend starting. Why are you so perfect? That's from one of my favorite people, and I think you're perfect. He also asks, how do I get brands to send me stuff, asking for a friend? I don't think you're asking for a friend, but it's okay. Let's get real about influencers and getting stuff and gifting and stuff like that, because I feel like I don't know if every like influencer, blogger, I don't know if everybody feels this way, but I've talked to enough and I've heard enough of them talk about this that I know it's a thing. Like, everybody who like is sort of on the outside of it or just starting out, because I know I felt this way when I was just starting out too. Like, you think the ultimate is getting people to send you stuff, and when they start doing it, it can get so exciting, but after a while it gets really overwhelming, and you end up with a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff that you you know, may not need or may not never use, and it starts to get really overwhelming. And like, I don't ever want to sound ungrateful for things, because I appreciate it, and there was a time when I wish that brands would send me stuff. It's not as exciting as you would think, and more brands, I feel like, are expecting more and more things from you just for sending you a product. And I know for me, I always try to tell a brand when they offer to send me something, I always kind of sniff out if they have really high expectations, and I'll always say, you can send me this, I'd be happy to, you know, potentially try it, potentially talk about it. I can't make any guarantees, because here's the thing, and a lot of brands get really upset, and I have a lot of brands that will just cut ties. They'll be like, no, we're not going to send you this, or we need a guarantee, I need to know. I've had people say that, but here's the deal, like, if you're sending me, like, I don't want to put this out in the universe because I don't want this to happen, but like, if you send me, you know, your product, you're like, oh, I'm gonna send you product that's $100 value or something, and I'm like, okay, you can send me this product, and I'm gonna guarantee that I'm gonna make a YouTube video, and then I'm gonna share it here, and I'm gonna share it there. Say, God forbid, I'm gonna knock on wood because I don't want this to happen, say something happens to my camera. You haven't paid me any money. I don't have the money to fix my camera. I'm not actually getting enough money from my business to keep my equipment. So now I don't have a camera, and now you're like, well, we sent you this product, it was $100 value, we want you to talk about it, and it's just like, I can't, because you didn't send me something that I can physically sustain my business with. And it makes it so much harder to be professional and to run your you know, your blog or YouTube channel or whatever like a business if brands are like, well, we're just gonna pay you in moisturizer. I wasn't gonna go on this rant, but I'm going on it. Okay, there we go. So it's difficult, and I know for people who are from the outside who are, you know, not doing it, or you know, just think it's like a hobby or something like that. Like, this is full-time work, and it doesn't necessarily get full-time pay. So the amount of work that I put in just to get brands' attention to potentially have them send me stuff is a lot. Like, it's not just like I started a YouTube channel and brands were like, here's stuff. You know, that's not, unless you're already established as like a celebrity or something, so you get an immediate following, that's just not how it works. I've been really lucky, I feel like, now that I've transitioned into more of like the body confidence sort of phase, where I'm sharing more bras and lingerie, because I have amazing brands that are sharing stuff, and I think it's a little bit easier for me to work with. I mean, it's frustrating because I don't actually make money off of it. I just get the free product, and I'm swimming in free bras right now, which I realize a lot of people would be really jealous of. But you know, that also doesn't pay my bills. But I love it because it gives me things to take pictures in, so I have content that I can create for you. I mean, it's one of those things where like you think that free products are so great, and they can be, and it can be amazing, and there have been things that I have been sent for free that I get like giddy about. The amount of work that you have to go into, the amount of growth that you have to do, the amount of effort and work, and like connecting with people. And it's interesting, I heard a blogger that made this comment at like a blogging event, and like, I'm gonna paraphrase it, but it's like, you know, when a brand comes to you and they're like, we just want to give you this because we're only asking for this, it's like, okay, but you know, when you give us something, or you pay us, or you think that you're paying us by sending us product or something like that, you're not just paying for like the time it takes for that person to make the essentially free advertising, or to make the piece of content. You're also paying for this influencer who has taken the time to answer comments, to build a following, to build trust in a following, to, you know, answer DMs that are not creepy, but like actually talk and connect with people, and create this community that you're now going to take advantage of, because the influencer is going to tell their community to use your product. And some might and some won't, but it's like, you're not just paying that influencer for just that little bit of content that they're doing, you're taking advantage of a lot of hard work that they're putting into this. And I know that you really just wanted to get some free stuff, and I understand that, but I'm just telling you that there's so much more to being an influencer than just getting free stuff. And I know that was like a long roundabout answer for somebody who's just like, I just want to know how to get free stuff, but in this personal case, this is actually a good friend of mine, so I got some free stuff in some boxes I can hook you up with, so we'll make that happen. Hi lady, you were very nice, woo. Is that like woo? Like, is this Ric Flair? I feel like if this is like Ric Flair with a weird name account, that would be really funny. You're really sexy. Okay, it's supposed to be you are. Like, they used the wrong your, and they spelled sexy wrong, so. Okay. Okay, here's a question. I get asked this a lot, and I guess this is where I feel like it might get kind of deep. Are you single? I feel like this is the question, and I get this question, and usually it's from like thirsty guys on Instagram, so I usually just block and move on. But yeah, people ask me, and I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't know how to answer that question. I don't think I've ever had more appreciation for the Facebook status. It's complicated. as I do right now, because I don't know what, I don't know how to answer that. All right, you know the scene in Sex and the City when Charlotte and Trey are like, they're kind of figuring things out, and she goes to the party and somebody asks who her husband is, and she goes through like that big long explanation, and like the woman looks at the other woman, she's like, don't talk to her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's not the situation. I'm not in the Charlotte and Trey situation, but like, I feel like when people ask, are you single? I feel like there's no way for me to answer that without going on this really like long-winded discussion, and I know people don't really want to know in general. So I'll just go on the long-winded discussion right now, and there you go. I am currently legally still married. I'm in the process of getting a divorce, so I am separated. So it's weird for me to say I'm single. Like, I guess I'm in a place where I probably could date if I wanted to. So I guess that technically makes me single. But I have no idea what my ex, soon to be ex, I don't even know what to call him. I have no idea what he's doing. I don't know, like, if he's dating again or anything like that, and I don't need to know, and honestly, it doesn't really matter to me, because I know there are people out there that, like, if they heard their ex was dating somebody, they'd be like, I need to start dating somebody, and like, that to me, like, what like what my ex is doing doesn't affect my thinking, and that goes for like any relationship I've been in. So it's one of those things where because I'm legally married, I feel weird like just saying I'm single and dating. It feels weird, even though like I honestly haven't even been in the same room as my ex for like a year and a half, and we haven't actually spoken other than like essential things for the divorce in like a year and a half. So like it's odd, because I would say I'm over the breakup in a sense. Like, you know, I've dealt with the breakup. I've dealt with that. Like, I'm not, like, my marriage ended, as difficult as it was, I think it ended in a way that was very definitive. Like, it's like, this is over. Like, there was no like wishy-washy, you know, maybe this will work out, maybe we'll get back together. Like, there was none of that. Like, it was done, which I think was healthy, because it was like kind of like ripping a band-aid off really quick. Like, it was just done. The divorce stuff has been lasting as long as it has, because it's gotten messy, and I don't think this is like the place to get into that and why it's difficult, why it's messy and stuff like that. But yeah, so like, I feel like when people ask me, am I single, it's one of those things where I feel like I haven't started dating again. I don't know, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm not, just because I haven't really met anyone. Like, I didn't really enjoy dating before. So I think there's a part of me that is a little bit hesitant to get back into it. And I also feel like it's a weird thing, because like, I don't, like, if I were to like meet someone either like before we went out or while we were out, like if I didn't already like know him or something, you know, I'd have to tell him that like I'm legally still married to somebody else. And I feel like that's kind of getting really personal really soon, because like I don't really want to start out a relationship talking about a past relationship right away. But then I also feel like if I don't, like, I would be really hurt if I went out on like a date or something with a guy and then found out that he was legally still married to somebody else and like hadn't told me. I feel like I'd be a little bit like, why are you hiding that from me? So yeah, like I don't know. If any of you have been through a divorce or you are going through one or something and you have any advice for me, please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know. I would love to know about that. You know, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. And I also like I said, I was gonna get real, and I said I was gonna get personal with you guys, so I'm gonna put it out there, and I'm just gonna say it. I'm at a weird age for dating right now, and I never ever thought at my age I would be still in like the dating world or going back into the dating world. I'm 39 now. I'm gonna be 40 before the end of the year, and you know, it's a scary age to be dating. And I know I get people that say all the time, it's weird because you have two different camps of people. You have the people that are like, that, you know, used to look so young. Oh, you're still so young. Oh, you have plenty of time. Oh, you'll meet the right one. Oh, I'm sure that, you know, you're gonna find a great guy. And, you know, there's all that, like, you know, don't give up hope. And then there's the other camp that's like the reality is that guys, even my own age, if they want a family, they're gonna find a 20-year-old. Like, let's be serious. So it's like my options are then guys who have already had their family and don't want to have another one, or guys who didn't want a family to begin with. And I was so not gonna get like emotional and get like that deep, but I said I was gonna get real. So like, if a guy over the age of 35 says like, I want to be a dad, it's all of a sudden this like, oh my god, he's such a great guy, he's so wonderful, like I hope he finds a nice girl. Whereas like, if a woman over 35 says like, I want to be a mom, it's like, ooh, that's sad and desperate, like she should really just get some cats. Like, it's such a double standard, but it is. And if a guy is, you know, even the same age as me or even a few years older, and he's like, I want a family, am I gonna be who he would pick? Because, you know, I'm turning 40, and, you know, it would have to happen sooner rather than later. And it adds a whole level of like pressure to the situation, because like I'm such an advocate of like, it's never too late to live your dreams. Like, I'm in the best shape now that I've ever been in my life. I think I look better now than I've ever looked in my life. But you know, there's certain realities about being a woman that, you know, certain parts of us have an expiration date. So, you know, and that's not really a very romantic or sexy thing to start talking about when you first start dating someone, without sounding like desperate and stuff. And like that, yeah, I mean, I think that was one of the biggest things for me when my marriage ended, was the fear that I would never have a family. And I think I had to come to terms with the fact that I would rather not have a family than to stay in a relationship that I felt like I wasn't healthy enough to bring a family into, you know? That's a lot. That's a lot to process. And I know, like, when I remember when I turned 30, I was single, and I was on like Match.com, and the day that I turned 30, I never got a message from another guy who was under the age of 40 ever again. And even when I was like 29 and on there, I would get messages from guys like in their like 39-year-old guys that would have me as like the top of their age range. And then I turned 30, and it was like nobody ever, I never heard from anybody under 40, and it was usually more like 50 or 60. Which, you know, I mean, age is to some extent just a number. It's just one of those things where it was a wake-up call for me, and it's not like I would write off somebody who was older or anything. It's just, you know, you have to start asking, like, is somebody at that age going to be really interested in starting a family, or, you know. So I kind of feel like now, like, I'm about to turn 40 and people are like, oh, there's dating apps and there's all these things, and I'm like, God, I'm just afraid that, like, if I go on there, I'm gonna turn 40 and, like, I'm like, am I gonna get a message from any guy who isn't on life support? Like, how is that? I don't know. I mean, that's not to say I wouldn't Anna Nicole Smith it up if the right billionaire came along, I'm just saying. But, you know, I mean, let's use humor to diffuse the situation. Remember I mentioned that before? So that was like a lot of stuff for what I'm sure the person that asked that question, are you single, thought that it was going to be like some kind of like a lighthearted, sexy question, and I was going to give some kind of sexy answer or whatever. But it's not simple. It's not sexy. It's I think that's one of the things that going through divorce really makes you feel, because as much as I feel like I want to find love, there is a part of me that feels like, I think when your trust has been betrayed as much as mine was, it's hard for me to fathom the idea of ever trusting anybody again, because I'm not a very trusting person. I'm very selective with who I put my trust in. So when somebody does betray my trust, it cuts deep. And in my mind, I can't fathom trusting anybody again. I hope one day I will, and I hope that I find the right person. I try to have faith every day, but some days it's easier than others. So if you're going through a breakup, or you're going through a divorce or a loss or anything, you're not alone. And if you're getting out in the dating scene, if you're older, it's scary, and I think it's okay to be scared. Scary world out there. So just look at my Instagram DMs. It's a scary world out there. Yeah, like this one. I love you. Do you love me? I'm gonna guess based on your profile pic, which is a picture of a horse, that I don't think so. No. Okay, so the last two questions are kind of similar, so I'm gonna kind of just talk about them together. One is what will you do in the future? Next one is what are your short-term and long-term goals? So it's kind of the same thing. I'll be honest, and I kind of think I touched on this in the beginning. I don't really know. I'm trying to figure it out right now. I'm really focused on gratitude. I'm really focused on staying positive. Career-wise, things just feel very up in the air for me. I mean, I feel like an amazing connection to a lot of my followers on Instagram. Some of them know, but a lot of people. I have some amazing people. I get amazing feedback, and I love the connection. I love, you know, that I get women that share, and men too, that share their stories of their struggles, and, you know, how I've inspired them to do positive things in their life. And it's like, for me, it's a weird balance, because I don't ever want to do something just for the money. And I don't, like, I hate when I come on here and I'm like, well, I don't do YouTube videos that I can't monetize and whatever. And it's just like, because it's not really just about the money, but it's also like, I mean, like, I'm gonna be real. I'm living in my 12-year-old bedroom. Like, you know, I'm in the middle of a divorce, which is expensive. Let's just say in my marriage, I should have taken more steps to protect myself from being in the situation that I'm in now, because I have gotten pretty screwed. I'm just gonna say. So I don't like to talk about my, like, I like to stay positive and I try to keep things positive, but I'm struggling. Like, financially, and I hate saying it out loud, because I know it's like I'm trying to put positivity out there, and I'm trying to figure out a way that I can keep creating content, and that I can keep, like, I feel so powerful that what I'm doing is, like, I'm on the right path, but I I'm not exactly sure where that path is leading me. So I'm trying to stay very open-minded, because I mean, if you had told me a year ago that I would basically be like a lingerie model on Instagram, I'd be like, you're insane. Like, that's not happening. If you told me that, like, you know, brands are gonna be sending me bras to post pictures of, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be almost 40. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, you know, I'm not a supermodel. So like, I don't have a supermodel body. Like, but you know, also, if you had told me when I started this YouTube channel, like 5 years ago, I want to say it was, that like I would still be struggling to try to make a living, and you know, I would be, you know, struggling to make videos and just, you know, trying to figure out my path. 5 years later, I would be like, no, are you kidding me? I'm gonna be famous. And like, don't YouTubers make like millions of dollars? And we don't all make millions of dollars, so let me tell you. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can actually earn money. And so far, the only suggestions I get on Instagram are creepy guys that want me to do porn, and I won't. I can't even imagine. I just feel like me doing porn would be so awkward. Like, it's not gonna happen. I'll just put it that way. Really, what I would love to do, I would love to take my stand-up comedy experience and my social media and, you know, the stuff I've been doing on Instagram and the YouTube experience and everything, and combine it. And I would love to get into doing like motivational speaking, and I would love to write a book. So yeah, I'm just gonna put that stuff out there. I've thought about like trying to do like an online course or something. I'm trying to figure out a way to make things happen so that they feel organic, and that they feel like they can be helpful to you, and that I feel confident charging money for, because again, it's not all about the money, but I do need to survive. So yeah, so honestly, like, you asked about my future, my goals, like, I mean, there's so many things I would love to do. I would love to like do a collaboration with a lingerie brand, you know, and do like a line of, I feel like that would be like really exciting. I feel like I don't know where I'm exactly going as far as my future plans, which makes me kind of nervous, because I am the person who likes to plan and likes to know what's going on, and it doesn't always go to plan, but I like to have a plan. But I'm kind of trying to enjoy the fact that I don't know right now, and that I feel like there are a lot of possibilities, and I would love to not live where I live now. I don't like, I've only ever lived in Massachusetts. I've lived in a few different places in Massachusetts, but I don't know. I feel like I would love to live somewhere else. There is a part of me that's just like, I want someone to come and like whisk me out of here. But for right now, just because of my family situation and stuff, like this is where I am right now. So yeah, and technically I can do what I do from anywhere, and they always say you can do social media from anywhere, but let's be serious, the people in LA have a way bigger advantage than we do. But you know, there's also more of them, so you know, there's that. So I don't know, I don't really know. It's weird, I've never really had an idea of like where I would want to live. I've just like, I have visions of my dream home, but it's not necessarily like in a specific place, or like, I just kind of have like a vision of like what I want my home to be like, you know, but not necessarily like where it would be. Yeah, I got really deep with you guys in this video. Yeah, that, and I apologize if this is a long video, and if you guys have stuck with me through this whole thing, thank you. I just really wanted to like just keep this real with you. Actually, the day I'm filming this, not the day this is uploaded, but the day I'm filming this, tomorrow would be my 3-year wedding anniversary. So this is actually my sweatshirt. It's actually Birdie Bee. I don't think they still sell the sweatshirt, but I got the sweatshirt just before my separation, and I literally lived in the sweatshirt for like probably the first year of my separation, and it says on it, find strength in the struggle. And so that is sort of, that's been my my motto, like I keep it close to my heart, because that's just meant a lot to me. So it's been a rough couple years, but I know it's made me stronger, and I know it's gonna make me even more strong. So I hope that something in this video, some of the questions I answered, like even just me pouring my guts out, like if you got any inspiration or motivation or felt a little bit less alone or anything in anything that I said, then honestly this was all worth it. So I truly appreciate every single one of you who watches, who follows, who likes, who comments. I have some ideas for some videos that I want to share and get kind of like, you know, personal and just talk. If this is the type of video that you like, let me know. Thumbs up, leave a comment, video suggestions, any questions you have that you want me to answer, videos you want me to make, anything, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I love your suggestions. Thank you guys. I mean, I started Everyday Starlet because I wanted to bring some glamour to everyday life, and I just feel like, you know, self-love and self-care and just, you know, just living your dreams and being your authentic self is just the most important thing, and I hope that this channel inspires you to do that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time.